Aloha, everyone. My name is Deepa, and welcome to Let's Evolve Together Tarot. So, we've got a special show for you today, and I'm just waiting to let people start getting on live. Hi. Hi, Deb. Thank you for being here. Hi, Jason. So, I'll just wait for Jason to join the live. And just bear with me as we get through this beginning part here. Hi, Bri. Hi, Deb. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being here, Brian. Okay. Let's see. Jason, do you see the option to request to join? My crown chakra today has a light coming out of it from the fabric behind me. So I think you might just hit the camera button on the bottom with the plus sign if you're not seeing it, Jason. How's everyone doing today while I wait for Jason to join? Oh, it's a beautiful day in Hilo. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice here, but the construction is going on across the street. Can you actually hear it, Bri? Okay. I oh, oh, here we go. Thanks, Jason. I think I got you now. Okay. So I accepted your request. Oh, here, I
Hey,
think you're showing up.
yeah, I had to
Yay!
use my phone. It's weird. I don't know why the laptop's not working, but
Oh, you had to switch. Okay.
yeah.
Well, maybe if we repost this, we can edit the beginning out, but that's totally fine. I figured there was something going on. So anyway,
That's
welcome.
it's all part of it. It happens.
Yeah.
Remember to breathe and just go with it. That's what I do.
Thank you. Yeah, I was
Well, I
probably
was talking to myself, but
panicking
yeah.
more. So Brian said he can't hear the construction across the street. Let me know if anyone can hear it, and I'll make amends. But I think it's good. So okay, so we're here. We're gonna begin. Aloha. My name is Deepa. This is Jason. Welcome, Jason, to Let's Evolve Together Tarot. I'm so happy you're here today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So basically, we are getting on live today to introduce an offering that we created. And it's called the Galactic Shamans Live Tarot and Energy Readings. So this is going to be a show that Jason and I will do together on live on YouTube. So we're really excited about it because we're basically going to be offering you live mini readings through the show. And so we're going to tell you all the details about that later. So first I want to introduce Jason and tell you all about him. So as I've said, his name is Jason Donaldson. And don't get embarrassed, Jason. I'm going to read your bio. Okay. So Jason has a BA in psychology from the University of Hawaii at Hilo. He has an MA in marriage and family therapy from NCU. And he is a certified Second energy practitioner, which I've had the wonderful experience to have that energy healing session with him. And he's a spirit guidance mentor. He has an extremely varied background in many healing modalities and much esoteric study, such as ascension, mechanics, quantum physics, nutrition, tai chi, qigong, tarot, shadow work, energy signature reading, etheric surgery, implant removal, meditation, breath work, soul retrieval, and archetypes. I was trying not to breathe and get that all out in one breath.
Yeah, it's a very Capricorn description. Like, this is what I have, and this is what I know, and yeah.
Yeah, I know. And what's exciting about it is you've had all these beautiful experiences through this work and through your own inner journeying. And so I think my main question is, what has all of this brought you to now? Like, how are you mixing all this together, and what are you bringing forward through your work now, and how might people see that, you know, during the live show that we do together?
Yeah, that's the galactic shamanism part where, and I didn't really want to embrace that word because, you know, it gets thrown around a lot, and I'm not trained in a cultural practice around that. It's more of again, a galactic perspective, like looking at all of it all at once. And my journey of being in different environments, you know, being in a lot of like dark places and also enlightened places, and feeling like I was broken and having this very active, busy mind that I was always challenged with, and even like this stuff in my family where there's this energetic sensitivity to things and often negative, and how all that kind of woke me up to the light and to the love and to the truth that there is a God, there is a universe, there is a divine source that is actually benevolent and always working to help us. Even that negative stuff is all for the awakening. And so it was basically realizing that I'm not broken. Like, all that stuff I learned was to fix myself, make myself whole and complete, and nothing ever really worked. You know, it was always like, oh, well, this thing's going to help me. This is going to be the next thing. It's going to really help me. And this is the thing. And everyone that's learning this thing is saying this is what everyone needs to learn, and it's going to work. And it did for a while. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, I'm still feeling emotions. I still got stuff coming up. And it wasn't until really just the last couple of years where I started realizing that, you know, we are whole and complete. And there's a part of us that we can connect to that's always there, that has that you know, the spirit basically, and the rest is just the human experience. And it's not something we can necessarily control, like the emotions. Some people think we can control our emotions, and we can suppress them, we can, you know, hold them down, but eventually they come out in different ways. And so this idea of control is you know, the great joke, the cosmic joke, right? That we're separated from God, we're separate from the universe, and we can control things. but we can dance, and that's what I learned is with all these tools and techniques and perceptions and awarenesses, we can dance with reality, and it becomes fun rather than a chore or something that needs to be accomplished. And that's a moment-to-moment thing.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That was really grounding. Yeah, I think, you know, what I noticed too is, like, the more I allow my mind or my ego to navigate my reality, that's when I start to feel really the onset of suffering. And then if I can shift in that moment back to my true soul self, or back to my connection with the divine, that's when I find liberation and freedom. So, like for instance, if I'm constantly relating to the world in a horizontal way, and that would be like the ego, that's where I get caught in stuff, where I'm trying to make things happen on this level. But if I can let that go and instead channel my energy up toward my higher self, toward the energy of oneness, how we're all connected in this field, that's when that other stuff, which is of a lower vibration, but not necessarily negative, but that's when that stuff starts to drop away. And then I can really expand, because instead of moving outward toward my environment and trying to relate that way, I'm actually going up and connecting to that higher vibration. So it lifts me out of like the muck, so to speak, and expands, the energy. So I feel like a freedom when I can get to that bigger space, and that space where, if you think about it, when you're in that realm and we're all connected, you're tapping into the energy of everything, the universe, all the people here, all our galactic brothers and sisters. And so there's just this natural assistance that comes when we connect vertically instead of horizontally, when we're saying, I'm connecting to something bigger than my ego. I'm choosing something bigger than my ego in this moment. And I think you're right about saying, it's like an acceptance that we're human. So we're like the spiritual being having a human experience. I don't have to stop my emotions. I don't have to stop my experiences, but learning how to ride the wave as I go through them is like kind of like enjoying the ride and being there and knowing that everything will shift and pass and change, because that's the nature of this reality. So yeah, it's cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's very eloquent. You said that. And it's because you go to the place of creation rather than trying to play with what's created around you already. Like, that's almost impossible to try to change what's already created. But if we go to the place where it's being created from, or just come into presence, we can navigate and truly see what that is too. Even especially people is like to really listen and hear what a person's saying beyond the made up words that we think have certain meanings, but we feel the energy and the experience of it rather than thinking about it with that limited, perspective. So I love that. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's what I try to do too, as much as I can. Is get up.
Yeah, and that was so epic what you just said when you said you're going to the realm of creation instead of what's already created, because I think that's when we're talking about manifesting and things like that, if we can connect to that realm of before things are created in the physical, that's where we have the energy and that's where we have the most control to form something before it manifests physically. But yet we're trying to do it this way. So I love that you said that. That made so much sense when you said that. It just like clicked. So that was super cool. Thank you. Because that's like the creative space where the artist imagines, right? The artist creates the visual first. That's the space. And then it comes out through the physical. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sure it's even more complex too. That's the best way, I think, to
start. Well, hopefully, like, more of this will start to birth itself in our live broadcast, because there's going to be times where we're just talking and kind of feeling into the energy of the moment and what's happening and what's coming up for people, which will include us, and I love getting into the deeper mechanics of what's happening energetically and what's going on in the universe. And so I definitely would love to tap more into that side of you that is connected to like quantum physics and know more about that for sure. I'm definitely always interested in the deeper inner workings, of why we're here. So
yeah, thanks. It just kind of comes, just these awarenesses and insights, and sometimes it resonates with people, other times not, and sometimes it's super triggering too, because it shatters the illusion of what we think things
right.
are, and the programming we've had and everything else. And so it's time, though, if we want to change, it requires a different perspective, a different level of consciousness, and when that first, like, whenever I hear something, it just seems way far out there. It's kind of a little bit of anger at first, like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's not this? And like, because that's that ego identification with, this is the way reality is. This is the way things are. And who are you to say otherwise? And it becomes about the person rather than just like listening. And that's, I think, how a seed is planted is, it's poked into the ground. There's kind of this poking, and it's covered, and eventually it pops out. Like, I've had that with people. They'll tell me something numerous times, and then somebody else will tell me it, and I'll come home and tell them, like, hey, check this app out. Someone just told me about it. And they're like, I've told you about this like 20 times. How do you not know this? So why do you have to hear it from someone else? And it's just like, it just clicked. It was weird. The seed was planted, but it just didn't really click, like, for whatever reason. It takes some time for our consciousness to elevate.
Yeah, there's the element of divine timing that has to come into play.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And I think about that, like, with us starting this project, because we met, I believe it was last fall, we met at, Jason and I, for everyone who doesn't know, us or how we met at a beach ball on the Big Island of Hawaii. We were lucky enough to have these really eccentric activities, I have to say, on the Big Island. And our friends, my husband and I are friends throw this beach ball every once in a while. And my husband and I were actually there to conduct a yoga class. So I was teaching yoga, and he was creating music on the spot to match the yoga class. And I decided to call it Aquarian Yoga because it really felt different than kind of traditional yoga. We have music being created simultaneously. So we've got like sound healing, obviously. We have these frequencies happening. I added contemporary dance, which is my background, into like the yoga process. And we've just been doing these a few times. There's some on our YouTube channel. And before the beach ball started, before the music and the dancing started, we decided to have this yoga class. And I was in the middle of teaching it, and Jason and some other friends joined in the middle, and that's how we met. And I just remember, yeah, it was really cool, Deb. And I just remember thinking, wow, where'd this guy come from? He's totally into it. He's doing this modern dance with me. I was like really impressed that you were like so open to this totally weird class that I was trying to pull off. And it was really interesting that day because only men were in the class, which honestly is really rare. Usually it's all women. And it was like the opposite. So, and I was like, wow, I'm tapping into this. In my perspective, was such a feminine energy. Like, it was very intuitive class. I have this dance sequence kind of mapped out. We're doing improv, like with the music. So it was very feminine. And of course, it drew in this masculine crowd. And so it was just so beautiful to see like the two really coming together in that way. And also maybe a little bit of like what people need showing up and who needs it, like who is actually in need of this type of energy in class. So it was really cool. So
it was fun. It was challenging because it required a lot of balance, and there was movement, and the music was awesome. Your husband's such a great DJ, and I was really vibing the music, so that helped. I was like, all right, let's go, let's move the body. And yeah, I'd never done any kind of yoga like that before. And at the time I was doing a lot of Qigong and Tai Chi. And so I already had that rooted, balanced energy I was working with. And with that style of yoga, it was really helpful to be like rooted and grounded, which is interesting. You call it Aquarius yoga. But it was like, vibrant, expressive, and then being rooted and grounded helped be able to actually do it. So, yeah, I think us guys like the challenge of it, where we were getting to test your mettle. That's always what I felt with. Like, I used to mentor youth, and there's always this desire, even when I was younger, to test our mettle, to try something that seems really difficult and hard, and not everyone can do it. And that was just kind of, it brought up that a little bit of that playful spirit,
Yeah, to kind of let yourself go and be a beginner again, try something new.
Yeah, that was kind of physically demanding, and
yeah,
but not too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. That's when I was like, we need to collaborate on something. We need to do something with this. And maybe we still will.
So I think both Jason and I were feeling like we really wanted to pool, and I always use this word pool, P-O-O-L, sort of pool our energy together into one pot and share through our individual experiences, just offering something from our hearts, like how can we use all these gifts? And so that's why we wanted, it's starting with like these tarot and energy readings. And by the way, welcome, Yana.
Hi, Yana.
Welcome, everyone.
I see Deb was on there too.
Yeah, Deb's on, Brian's on, and Valet Pavi, 77, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And everyone who's here, thank you so much for being here with us. That's what this is all about, like coming together, sharing our stories, sharing energy, inspiring each other, evolving together. And so, Jason and I are starting with, like, let's do some tarot and energy readings. And we already have more ideas, to go deeper for the future. And that's all going to come along in due time. But we're really excited about this partnership that we've created and working together, and how the mystery of how it evolves and builds and grows, I think, is probably what intrigues us the most, and how this interplay between what we're offering and what comes back as a reflection to help us evolve and grow, and then to offer what we can in that department for you guys. So it's a journey that we're going on, and we want to take you with us. And I think that's what's the most exciting thing about it, is it's for everyone. And so what a beautiful thing to share this coming together, this divine coming together through our hearts with the community that wants to be a part of it. So I have like this whole list of questions, but I feel like the interview luckily is taking on its own flavor, which I really appreciate, because you write out like, okay, let's stay on track here and let's ask some specific questions. But I feel like it was like, let's go this way, which I love, because that's kind of what it's about. Let's go this way. Let's see what's over here. It's like walking through the woods and not exactly having a path. Like, let's go check this out and see what's hiding in this corner. But I am going to look at my questions and see if there was anything I missed. So I think what would be helpful too is like, what kind of questions can people ask? What can they get from us and use specifically? Like, yeah, I guess what would be the best questions for what your training is and what you have to offer? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I started with metaphysics and tarot cards, and reading any book I could find on channeling, going to every psychic and tarot card reader, wanting to know about past lives, doing regressions and all that. And then I just felt like a lunatic and a weirdo whenever I talked to people about stuff. They just kind of get that look in their eyes and they kind of slowly move back. But then when I moved to Hawaii, it was different. Like here, I was like, oh, really? Tell me more about that. And it didn't matter how weird it was. Most people were kind of into it. It depends on what cliques you're with here. But I felt like I needed to be reputable. So I needed to get probably more grounded. And my guides were saying, hey, you need to go get these degrees. So I went and got these degrees in a traditional training as, the psychology, and then into marriage and family therapy. Even though I'm not married and I don't have kids, it was the systems approach. It was more of what I saw as a galactic approach, that you can't really work with just one individual because no one is an island unto themselves. Even within themselves, there's all these parts of them. And like health is connection, health is being centered. And then everything comes out from there. Everything moves out from the center. Like that's what Tai Chi and Qigong is about, this internal energy practice. And everything moves out from that center, the movements and the balance and the strength and the ability to do really amazing things. Like my Tai Chi teacher told me that Tai Chi done perfect, done well, is invincible. Nobody can beat it. Done poorly, it's a disaster, because it requires surrender and fluidity and being relaxed and not being afraid when the attack comes. In fact, there was a man that came from China that he really had mastered this. I forget the Chinese term for it, but he'd always say it about just relax. And so he'd fight these external martial arts that were really good and really aggressive and intense, and he'd send them flying because he could take their energy and flip it around, hit them with it, fly them, because he was just like a wet noodle kind of thing. And so that's what I try to bring with, whatever, no matter how heavy and dense a thing is or seems, or if someone has like multiple diagnoses from the DSM, like the whole book was thrown at them, I know that there's a part of them that is whole and complete, and there's nothing wrong with them. And they're having these other experiences, and they're having these things that are happening that are very real because it's meant to feel real. And so what I like to do is, and this is what every shaman does, is find that void, find that space in between all the worlds and into like the spirit realm where you can see things as they truly are, their true essence. And you're also acknowledging everything else and being able to maintain your energy in that, which is, the discipline to discern what is what, in a sense. So that's what I try to bring is multiple different healing modalities and the understanding of navigating some really heavy, dense environments, and even things that people say aren't real or it's just your imagination, which there's truth to, but there are things that, don't have our best interests at heart, whether it's energies or humans, and it's not necessarily that they're evil, it's just they have their own agenda and they don't really respect the unity and the sovereignty of the being, and how that also serves us too, because it forces us to step up and stand in our power and authority. Is like, no, I don't want this anymore. You got to get out. And then they keep coming back. It's like, get out. Nope, can't. And so I went through that myself. Yeah. And a lot of it's just the thoughts in the head that create that environment, like what we're taught and what we experienced in times of intense experiences, what people call trauma, is we take on these beliefs and these ideas after the fact, like whatever the mind is like, oh, what could have happened or what did happen, and I'm going to make sure that never happens again. And it almost creates an energy where it's hard to let go let go of it, because we don't want it to happen again. And that can almost like invite it again in different ways, subtle ways, like a spiral rather than, exactly the same. And that's where you were talking about that higher perspective and coming up to the place of creation and where the artist creates. It's like up there is where the answers are. Like if we're in shadow, you just turn around, because the shadow is the illusion and the oneness is just behind us. And both have value, both are to be honored. And when we're done with playing in the illusion and the shadow, it's just a matter of turning around. And the more we do that ourselves, the more we can help others do it. Because when I'm in it too, I can't see clearly. I can't really know what's up. I'm not present, and my mind takes over. And so I've learned to just breathe, be quiet, don't say anything, and eventually I'll come out of it. But it happens all the time. Every master, I'm not calling myself a master, but like I feel like every avatar, every master that was on this planet struggled with the same thing until they realized that these were things just being offered in their mind. It wasn't reality unless they gave it power, unless they focused their consciousness on it. In fact, I found myself watching a YouTube video I saw like 10, 15 years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers Ian Lungold. He was the one that really shared a lot about the Mayan calendar and how the Mayan calendar was the evolution of consciousness and how there was these different phases. And he said some really profound things that really like impacted me then and even now when I was watching it last night. And one of them is, what you pay attention to, you become conscious of, which we all know. And then the other one was, an intuition is the focus of your attention. And it's just so simple, like truth is so simple. And so when the negative thoughts and the stuff come in, if I focus on that, I believe that, I'm giving energy to it. But if I just come to my breath and be with the breath, or look around and just notice what's around in this moment, it starts to shift and change. The power is being given to the now rather than what the mind does of what's going to happen in the future, what happened in the past, or that I'm better than everyone, or that I'm less than everybody. That's all the mind stuff. And those are the easiest ways to tell. Future, past, better than, less than kind of thing. Or it's linear too. Like that's the other discipline of a shaman. We were talking about shamanism is what's my imagination, what's my mind versus what is coming from a greater source. And that's not always, I mean, I can't always tell sometimes. Like I have to get really calm and centered because it seems like I'm present. I think I'm present, but I'm not. Because when we are, all of a sudden, it's like everything pops and expands, everything expands, and it's kind of sparkly, and there's like this peace. And so that's what I like to bring to whatever I do as much as possible. And that's what we all have inside of us, is that peace and that love and that joy and that presence.
Wow, that's epic. I want to just like record you and play it so I can listen to it while I sleep, and all these good messages can go into my subconscious. Thank you. That was epic. So I think what we could probably safely say is any question you have is valid that you would bring to this. You know, I think what we're going to do is I'll probably pull tarot and oracle cards, and Jason will too, but he'll also be tapping into your energy and what might be going on, and get probably deeper under the surface. You know, what needs that energy to unlock in you or shift in you? Because a lot of times people will come when they feel stuck, or they're wanting something to shift, or they're needing a higher perspective. And so we'll work together to kind of open it up and bring whatever expose whatever needs to be exposed, whatever you're ready for in that moment, to show you that there's always possibilities. There's always a way out. There's always a sanctuary within that you can get to. And so I think along with like, any relationship questions, any spiritual journey questions, any questions about your healing journey or any trauma or any wounding, all of that is good. And I think any galactic questions, like Jason said, he's a galactic weirdo. I feel like I am too. And the weirder we go, the better, the more fun we're going to have, because I feel like this is the play of consciousness, and we can color this canvas in any way that we're inspired to, in any way that we want to. And I think taking the limits off of ourselves is part of the battle. Like just getting permission to be creative, getting permission to go into our imaginations and manifest what's there, and allowing ourselves to be human, allowing ourselves to be spiritual, allowing ourselves to go on this journey and allowing it to be what it wants to be, instead of feeling like we have to control or navigate it, because that's where we contract and that's where the suffering is birthed. So I think along with any of these questions that you guys have in any of these realms, like what's my next best step, I'll probably have the Akashic Records open. So that's a great question for the Akashic Records, as well as, trying to pull out where things might be coming from in your past too, with your Akashic Records, or your future, for instance. But also like just giving you guys really good tools. I need some tools to navigate this stuff. I think both Jason and I have basically 40 years of combined experience going on our own journeys as mystics and as yogis and yoginis, and just trying to move through all the inner stuff for ourselves that we can then offer and let you guys have your way with. Like, these are all tools that we can share for transformation. And it's really just about someone throwing a life raft into the sea of samsara to help you get to the other side. Like, there is a shore waiting for you on that other side, and you will get there. And it's kind of like, we're just happy to be of service, and so grateful, really. I think that's what it comes down to. So the one other thing I wanted to ask you, Jason, and then we'll introduce all the details about the show, is, and I don't really know how to word this because I'm still getting in touch with this aspect of myself, but you mentioned it the other day when we were talking and building this, and you called it the galactic self, like getting in touch with your galactic self. So can you talk about what is the galactic self, or what could that mean for everyone? Like, what is that?
That's interesting, because I was making that flyer, which we'll post later, and I just typed out, like, okay, I got to describe a little more what this thing is. And so I just typed out some words, and that just came through. I've never really used that term. And I think what it means, how I interpret it is, it's kind of, I just basically channel stuff and it comes through, and I can connect with I work with the Natiru and, you know, the Egyptian gods, which are actually our star brothers and sisters. And so like Isis will give me a message, or Sekhmet, and it just kind of comes through, and it's not me, it's not mine. Same with the healings, it's not me doing it. But like, there's the infinite wholeness of all things, you know, God, what Lisa Royal Holt calls the golden lake, when we're all drops from the golden lake. And so the golden lake is the golden lake. It is what it is. And then there's like the drop would be probably more like our galactic self, where we've had all these lifetimes, all these experiences, not only on Earth, but on other planets, in other times, other galaxies, other dimensions, which we can't really fully understand. Like there's a lifetime I had, which felt like ancient Japan, but I was like this very powerful being that lived 1,000 years, and I was like indestructible, and nobody could beat me in battle until I had made the agreement that that would happen. And you know, it was a darker type lifetime, but it was something my soul wanted to experience. And so the galactic self would see that and understand that that was something that was desired, and people could say it was evil or negative, but it was just part of what that golden drop wanted to experience. So I would call the galactic self like the golden drop, but ultimately we are that source connection. We are the lake, and we want to be slightly individuated, just enough to where, you know, we have the ability to experience. And I was talking about the Golden Lake, Lisa Royal Holt's book, which is really, really amazing for galactic history. And it's a much more positive look at it too. Not that negative, you know, negativity is bad necessarily. It's just I like the perspective on it. It even describes a lot of how other civilizations and throughout the cosmos have navigated what we're going through now with the emotional, I could say intensity, but really just the emotional integration that we're all going through during this ascension period, where emotions are coming up and they're there to be integrated and brought into presence rather than controlled or stifled or ignored, because there's certain races that did that, like the Zeta, which are like the gray aliens that were like kidnapping everybody, and it turns out they weren't really kidnapping everybody. They just needed human DNA to help their species be able to like survive, because they so effectively cut off their emotional body that they were dying. So our emotions are needed, at least, you know, as this physical incarnation at whatever level it shows up. So that's a little, I went a little on a tangent, but I just love all that information. I find it really fascinating, and it definitely resonates. And so I like to bring that kind of information to things, and then also what I feel and intuitively know, and then what we sense with the person we're working with, like the ceremonies we do. Like I work with some really amazing musicians and sound healers, Michael and Yana, which Yana's here. I definitely attracted you guys. You know, my vibe increased, and I met these amazing people. And our energy, what we do, what we channel, is a lot of it comes from what we're feeling in the room, you know, what the people are bringing, what the land is offering, what the weather is doing with the rain and everything. So it's this wonderful dance. And so our galactic self is this master dancer, healer, wizard that can help us in any lifetime.
Nice. Wow, I love that. Okay, so I pulled a card for us actually to see what lifetime you and I were activating, because I think sometimes you can come with a question, you know, to a reader or a channeler or a healer, and you'll realize that by the end that maybe this struggle or this issue that you're having is actually from, you know, one of your past lives from off planet in a different star system altogether. So it's really fascinating to me too, and it gives us such a broader perspective for who we actually, you know, really are beyond this earth realm, and that there's so much going on too through the dream state and the astral realms. So I just wanted to see our connection, Jason, where it was coming from. And of course, I get the serious energy for us.
Nice. So, yeah, that's perfect.
So yeah, looks like we're activating a Syrian lifetime for sure. I know, I just thought, of course. And it says, yes, proceed, be seen, push through. So it's also like our Syrian guides like pushing us, you know, it's time. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I love about this. It's so fun. You get these confirmations, and yeah, it's like we're making all this up. This is the great adventure, and sometimes it doesn't feel fun and it gets intense, and that's what we're here to help with, is when it doesn't feel fun anymore. And there's the desiring of remembering, and for me that's what healing is to remember what's healed and whole already, and then it's easier to navigate things. It doesn't mean stuff's not going to happen still, but it just gets easier. And something my mentor says that I think is so powerful is, whenever anything happens, is like, how is this for me? Like, how is this happening for me? If I'm an infinite, unlimited God creator being that manifested into form here to have experience, there's no accidents. It's all being created for me, and it's offering me an opportunity to be with a part of myself, to elevate, to grow, expand, or whatever it is. And so I just find that so helpful, is
Yeah,
the breath
yeah. I
and
mean,
how is this for me?
no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, because I think we can feel like so much intensity and suffering, but it's all for our evolution and growth. And if we can look at it as an opportunity, it really shifts it. Like, how can I grow from this, and what can I? Yeah, like that was it. That was it exactly. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not downplaying what people go through either. I know things can be really intense, and it seems like there's no way out, and there can be. So, yeah, much love to you guys if you're out there really struggling with something. And yeah, I also know how amazing you truly are, and that you're going to overcome it, make it through it.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Um, so yeah, I think too, along with all of this, Jason and I will definitely be connecting with our guides through the process. So you will be getting guidance from our guides and through who's ever there. And I think it'll probably shift according to who shows up for the YouTube live and what energy they're attracting, and what guide wants to come in to assist them, what archangel, what galactic energy, that kind of thing at the time. So that'll be fun to experience all together. So should we introduce the offering and all the details and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Okay.
Or part of
Yeah. Okay.
it? And I'll
Yeah.
jump in.
Yeah. You could do part of it. Okay. Okay. So basically, it's called Galactic Shamans Live Tarot and Energy Readings, and it's going to be broadcast live on YouTube from both of our YouTube channels, because we're going to use StreamYard to broadcast through several channels at once. So my channel on YouTube is called Let's Evolve Together, and Jason's is called Jason Donaldson, right? That's it. There's no
Jason
healer.
Donaldson Healer.
It's Jason Donaldson Healer.
Yeah, if you Google that or type that in there, you'll find it.
Okay. Okay. So these will be every Thursday at 11 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our first one is actually going to be the April 20th, which is next Thursday.
So I think is it a new moon? I think it's a new moon that day.
It's also the week of the solar eclipse.
Yay! All right, let's go.
Yeah, and so what's interesting about this is, when Jason and I started coming up with all these ideas, it was the spring equinox and the first Aries new moon, and now we're coming to the second Aries new moon, which is also a solar eclipse. And it's odd that there's two Aries new moons in one period, so that's really fascinating. And it's almost like this added layer. So like, first we came up with this idea, and then this new layer came on. Okay, now we're diving deeper. And then as we get into Taurus season, we're going into actually manifesting it in this physical realm, really grounding it with the Taurus energy. So it's all in this beautiful timing with the astrology too, which is really fun.
Yeah, with the name Galactic Shamans, you got to be grounded.
You got to be on top of it.
Like crown chakra, just full on floating out in space kind of thing.
Yeah, we're gonna be grounded. We're excited. We're so excited, but we're gonna be. We know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be interviewing you actually next Monday, or this coming Monday at 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube Live. So you guys tune in, learn a little more about Deepa and her path and what led her to be doing what she's doing now, and a little more of her gifts and talents.
Yeah, so these are, thank you for that. So basically, you guys, these are mini readings, and I think, you know, we never know how much time we're going to be able to spend with one person, especially if there's a lot of people in the room that want a reading, so we'll just go with the flow. But it's $28 for a mini reading from both of us, and it'll be basically first come, first serve. So as soon as you click on the Venmo link and pay, you'll be added to a list in the order that the money was received, and then we'll just go from there and do the readings kind of in order. So that's kind of the details of it. I don't think there's anything else as far as like housekeeping. I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
Right?
and we'll be offering like collective readings too, and we'll probably be talking about things, and like, I don't know how this will evolve, but I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. And yeah, because Deepa has all this amazing knowledge of more of the Eastern Vedic stuff, and just this really in-depth understanding of the tarot, and it's very technical and very, very clear and concise. And then she also has this ability to read the Akashic records and channel and be in tune with her intuition. So it'll be fun to just like play back and forth with what comes through and the things I've studied and touched on, and I'm sure she can elaborate on it and vice versa. So it should be really great. So invite you guys all to come every Thursday at 11 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I think that's 2 at Pacific Time. And what else about that?
I think what I was going to say is I think we're just so excited and grateful to even have this opportunity.
That's scary.
I'm just
like pushing through it.
Huh?
But part of us, we're like, should we just wait on doing this? And Deepa pulled some cards. Is like, no, you got to go do it now, and it's important. So whatever is going to come through, we don't really know, and it feels right and it feels appropriate for the times we're in. And there's going to be a lot more happening on the planet. And another thing I heard recently is that time's not speeding up. It feels like it, but what's happening is creation is speeding up. So the more we're able to really connect with, you know, that galactic self, the presence, our intuition, the easier it's going to be to navigate, because there won't be time to think. Kind of like when there's, I don't know if anybody's ever been in a car accident or something similar, or narrowly avoided something that could have been catastrophic. There's like this full, intense presence. There's no time to think. You just do it, and you feel it, and everything slows down. It's almost like a slow motion movement. Whereas there's another way we can experience too, where we just check out. We're like, no, I don't want to deal with this. I can't. And so what we're about is helping you get to the place where no matter what happens, you're like, I got this. I'm good. I'm going to flow with it. I'm going to trust. I'm in the flow, rather than like, no, I need to figure this out and what needs to happen. And why is this happening? You know, just like there's the flow, and we're going, you know, and so that's what I'd really like to bring to the planet, is that which leads to all the things the masters have told us, you know, is the love, the joy, the peace, the connection, the oneness, everything we need to do, we just do, and it's a flow. So that's the new earth I want to see.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brian, and I'll answer your question in a second. What I was going to say in addition to that, which you reminded me of, which is so awesome, is I think throughout the show, we're also going to be talking about the energies that are going on collectively, so that we're just helping give orientation and context to, okay, well, yeah, you are experiencing this, and this is also what's going on astrologically, and you might be mirroring that or absorbing that or feeling that, so you're not alone. And I think us coming together in this way, even if you came on the show just to be a part of the energy and didn't get a reading, I think you would still get so much out of it through other people's questions and answers, and just to be together, just to be in a space where we're all going through this together, we're all evolving together, and you're not alone. I think the biggest thing for me with my guides that I've learned these past couple of years is you're never alone, and just ask for help. You know, like that's the joy in this. So we're really bringing that part of it to life. Like, you're not alone. We're going to prove it, you know, not just being here physically, but so that you can really hear that spirit guidance that's always available to you too. And so, Brian, so basically, I think it's going to be pretty mellow. Like basically you'll sign up, you'll pay and sign up, and I'll be like, okay, 3 people signed up. So Brian, you're number 3, you know, it'll just be pretty mellow like that. So I don't think it's going to be too distracting. And if it did become busy, we would definitely probably end up getting a moderator. But I think at this point we can just all be together and enjoy each other and go with the flow and like just explore the mystery and the excitement and the spontaneity of what this experience is going to be for us together and all of us collectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Clark. We're just sharing that we're doing live tarot readings and energy readings every Thursday, 11 a.m. So thanks so much for joining us. And what else do we want to share about that? Anything else before we go?
I just wanted to tell people how to find you, Jason, because
Okay.
I've experienced your sound healing with Yana and Michael, which has been mind-blowing and so epic. And also your second energy healing, which I adore. So if you guys would like to get a have an exchange with Jason privately, basically his website is jasondonaldsonhealer.com, and you can find him on YouTube under the same name, as well as Instagram and Facebook. I think it's all the same name, right?
Pretty much, yeah. You'll be able to find me if you just Google that. It'll pop up the various, and my website has all the social media links.
Okay. Yeah, make sure you put in Jason Donaldson Healer, because as I was navigating and trying to find you, it worked way more fluidly when I added healer to it. There was a lot of Jason Donaldsons in the Google engine.
There's a lot of us out there doing our thing. I'm the weirdest one, though, I think. If you Google me, you'll be like, what the hell is this about?
Weird and proud.
I love it, though.
Yeah,
I love being weird.
be weird.
I used to hide it, but, it's the way I am.
Yeah. No more hiding. It's time to come out of your shell.
Yeah. I'm grateful for you, too, like, stepping up and doing this. And thank you for this interview and for all you're doing. And your tarot card readings are phenomenal. So I'm excited to see what comes forward whenever we get on these live calls on YouTube.
Yes, me too. Cool. Thank you. That's so great. And thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Much love to you guys. Aloha. We'll see you soon. See you Monday on Jason's.
Monday, 9 a.m. I'll be interviewing Deepa on Facebook and YouTube Live. So hope to see you guys then.
Love you guys. Bye. Aloha.